One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Don Lemon, don't come here. You roll up in this church doing stuff like that, and it's going to be the Royal Rumble. And the funny thing is, I'm not joking. We have worked hard. We built the church in the name of the Lord. We dedicated it to the Lord. It's built for worship. Our blood, sweat, tears, and finances are in this place. And some people who have never darkened the door of the church and never contributed one dime to it, gonna roll up in here and disturb our service and scare our children and shout obscenities in the church. That will not stand in this church. Freedom of speech doesn't extend to going into someone else's house of worship. And you know what? Them people know that. That's why you never see them going into a mosque, because they know the Muslims ain't having that. I'm not a Muslim, but we ain't having that. And the Bible teaches that we serve a God who teaches our hands to war and our fingers to fight. That's Bible. And these are the times in which we live. No respect for the house of God. All we want our sisters to do is just get out the way. He gets ready to throw a punch, don't grab his arm. Let the Lord have his way, and they'll know not to ever do that again. Say amen.
I'll say it first. Amen. Amen and amen. I hope your church service went well today. I put up a poll earlier, and the poll was, did your pastor/priest mention the church invasion? Only 36% of people who went to church today found out that their pastor or church leader even mentioned it. 44% said, nope, didn't mention it at all. And 19% said they're glad it wasn't mentioned. What are you 19% of people afraid of? Why were you hoping that it wasn't mentioned? Why would nearly 20% of you say you're glad that it wasn't mentioned? That concerns me. It should concern a whole lot of you, that there are 20% of conceivably MAGA who just don't want to enter the fight. who don't want to just go where, things look like they may go. I've been telling you for quite some time, you got to get ready. These people, as you're going to find out, are extremely ready. In fact, many of them are actually openly putting up videos. Hey, we're ready to die. How many of you are willing to put your lives on the line? How many of you are willing to do what it needs to save America? It's very interesting. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on the negative side of Minneapolis, because at this point it is what it is. It's a clown show. But these people are organized, they're well funded, they're willing to do damage, they're willing to inflict pain, they're willing to do whatever it needs to save the den of iniquity that is Minneapolis. I think we have found where the zombie apocalypse will begin. I think we now know this is the area where all of the center of gravity, everything that evolves from the Democrat Party, evolves in Minneapolis. All their money, everything that they do, the corruption, all of it seems centered in Minneapolis. And I've told you guys many a times, I put together a show. I think I'm going to talk about X, Y, or Z. And then all of a sudden I get ready to go on. And I don't know if he has a mind meld with me, but President Trump jumped in today. So I'm going to have to push my show back a little bit and tell you what President Trump has done, or rather is about to do, in case you haven't seen it. He put up two lengthy posts back to back. Let's take a look at these posts. During the 4 years of crooked Joe Biden and Democrat failed leadership, tens of millions of illegal alien criminals poured into our country, including hundreds of thousands of convicted bad guys, so these people don't get mad, and terrorists. I won the election in a historic landslide, and Republicans won majorities in both the House and the Senate, in large part because we pledged to seal the border, which we have done, and launched the largest mass deportation effort against these people in American history. This deportation effort is underway, and in Republican-run cities and states, these operations are going peacefully and smoothly. Going to speak more about that in a second. Actually, let me jump ahead right now to underscore what he just said in terms of how it's working in red states. Okay, listen to this by Todd Blanche.
I'm very confused about why the conversation is about what you're talking about instead of focusing on what really matters, which is why in one city, in one place do we have these problems. We deport 10 times the number of illegal aliens out of Texas than we do out of Minneapolis. Why do we hear nothing out of Texas about any of the same problems that we have in Minneapolis? I'll tell you why. Because in Texas, we have the cooperation and support of local law enforcement so that we can do these operations safely, keeping U.S. citizens and others protected and safe. That is not what we have in Minneapolis. And the fact that it's the administration that's being blamed for the utter failure of leadership in Minneapolis is not right, it's not appropriate,
and it's also not
officers true.
All right, so Christian Welker tried to pin Todd Blanche down, and he nailed her. Many more people in Texas, many more people here in Florida are getting deported. You don't see this insanity. You don't see any of the insanity that we are now seeing in Minneapolis. And it's because they've decided that they are going to make their last stand, Custer's last stand in Minneapolis, because everything else has fallen apart. If you've gone through this show and you've watched everything happen, USAID, off. Department of Education, money moved. Everything keeps, Ukraine, everything is being turned off. And so now what you're seeing in Minneapolis is the Democrat machine backed into a corner. And as everyone will tell you, a cornered animal is the most dangerous animal. They have nothing left. This is it. This is Custer's last stand. That's why they're going to try and shut down the government. They have nothing else. And you have to realize this is the final battle. We have reached the pinnacle of where this fight is going from here. They can't muster this in any other state. But if they are able to win somehow, they will do it in every other state. It must be eradicated right now. It must be destroyed right now. And I'm going to get into why I think everybody has been waiting for the Insurrection Act, and why I think at this point it hasn't been, invoked, unless, of course, this is what he's doing right now. So let's continue. He said, these operations are going peacefully and smoothly because law enforcement officers are allowed to work with their federal counterparts. For example, in 5 Republican states of Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and Louisiana, ICE has arrested 150,000 criminals over the past year with zero protest. None. No riots. No chaos. Why? Because local police and ICE are cooperating and working together. Meanwhile, Democrat-run sanctuary cities and states are refusing to cooperate with ICE, and they are actually encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct their operations to arrest the worst of the worst people. By the way, whenever you hear them say, oh, he's not just arresting the worst of the worst, he's arresting, people who are just here on a violation because they broke into the country. See, the definition is, what do you consider worst of the worst? To me, that includes people who came here illegally, knowing that they were not supposed to be here, who have had a year to get the hell out, who have been offered $3,000 and a plane ticket, and have still decided to do whatever they want to. To me, that is a worst of the worst. You couldn't do it in any other country. Why are we okay with them doing it here? Continuing. By doing this, Democrats are putting criminals over tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, and they have created dangerous circumstances for everyone involved. Tragically, 2 American citizens have lost their lives as a result of this Democrat-ensued chaos. So he's laying out the things as to what's happening. He quickly followed up that post with this post. This post says, therefore, that is why I am hereby calling on Walt Spray and every Democrat governor and mayor in the United States of America to formally cooperate with the Trump administration to enforce our nation's laws rather than resist and stoke the flames of division, chaos, and violence. If you guys are aware, you understand what you're reading here. Governor Walz and Frey should turn over all criminal aliens that are currently incarcerated in their state prisons and jails to federal authorities, along with all criminals with an active warrant or known criminal history for immediate deportation. The Trump administration, through the president, are making their demands, which I consider is going to be their final demands. Number 2, state and local law enforcement must agree to turn over all aliens arrested by local police. Number 3, local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detaining aliens who are wanted for crimes. Is it starting to sink in what this is? This is it. This is the prelude. What comes next, they don't want. But this is most assuredly the prelude. Number 4, Democrat politicians must partner with the federal government to protect American citizens and the rapid removal of all aliens in our country. Some Democrats in places like Memphis, Tennessee, Washington have done so, resulting in safer streets for all. In addition, I am hereby calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation to end sanctuary cities, which is the root cause of all of these problems. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding American citizens only, not criminals who break our nation's laws. All of these requests are rooted in common sense and will provide the best possible circumstances to make America great again. The Trump administration is standing by and waiting for any Democrat to do the right thing and work with us on these important matters of making America safe, like it is in all sections of our country where we are together with local leadership participating and involved. That came out at 5:35. That is President Trump making the final demand on all this stuff. I'm done with the games. We've completed everything we're going to do. We are no longer going to have discussions about this. I put up a funny video from the movie Tropic Thunder. Is we don't negotiate with terrorists. That's it. None of what he just said, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's figure out what laws we'll enforce and what laws we won't enforce. I'll let you tell me you want me to remove 1,500 and we'll leave 1,500. No, this is it. This is what we were hoping for, and now we are there. These people have been encouraging people to basically put their lives on the line. Let me show you this in case you haven't seen this.
If you are sick and tired of your government being ransacked by Donald Trump and his minions, literally taking away healthcare from your neighbors, stealing food off of the table from seniors and children, and generally being uncool with the fact that our neighbors are being disappeared, P.S. without due process, it is just called kidnapping, then show up and use your voice. Put your body on the line and you
show up and put your body on the line. Basically, they are talking to these zombies and telling these zombies, you need to be prepared to die. You need to put your body on the line so that we can keep these newcomers here. Our neighbors. Let me replay that so you guys can hear that section again. As she says, I was stunned when somebody sent me this.
Called kidnapping, then show up and use your voice. Put your body on the line and use non-violent direct action, which is one of the most important tools in our toolbox to say, I am not okay. I will not go silently into the night. I will join arms with my friends, with my neighbors, and with people who generally believe that folks should be able to afford their lives, should be treated with dignity and as human beings. Then we need to see it.
What the hell is she talking about? Well, she's talking about a revolution. The Democrats have already declared war on America. Unfortunately, like some of the people who wish that their pastor didn't talk about it in church today, you're not ready. And so I'm done talking about it. I can show you things, and I've got Bavino's press conference to show you today, but it's clear that some people aren't ready for what's about to happen because probably we've never been in this situation. This is like completely new, fresh ground. We have never had in our lifetimes a civil war. This isn't a civil rights protest. This is a absolute civil war to take over America. Back in the 60s, when they had the civil rights action, it was whether it was to get black people to vote or different things back then it was the Civil War was just trying to get rid of slavery. But right now we're at a point where they're trying to just get rid of the country. And they're not accepting losing very well. I mean, I think you realize at this point, the bottom line with all this is that we had an election a year ago that turned down the question of whether to enforce the immigration laws. And unfortunately for them, they lost badly. The duly elected president now is trying to enforce those laws, and the left is trying to prevent him from doing so. And they are doing anything they possibly can at this point. This is their last stand. They will do whatever is necessary. Will you do whatever is necessary? They're showing you without any equivocation how important having these newcomers in the country is to their overall strategy. They are showing you without any equivocation how having these newcomers in the country and then setting them up to steal from you is a key component of their strategy. Everything has been exposed. And now they're telling you they're willing to die to keep them here, to keep that machine in place. They know that there are quite a few Americans out there that won't oppose them. We can't fight. We got to turn the other cheek. Let's just pray for them. And they know they can't win with their ideology. So what they did was they imported voters to hold power. and they imported people to steal money. And now they're showing you everything has been revealed. And we have people who don't believe it. You know, I spent some time with Rob. You saw the videos I put up on the beach today because I just wanted to see what life outside of the camera, life outside of X was like. I knew it doesn't represent real life, but I just needed to feel it today. I need to smell life today. And by the way, sorry for some of you guys who are dealing with some bad weather. Okay, pray for you. It's cold. But I just wanted to get out. And we went to the beach. We went to a restaurant. Everything is packed. People are happy, smiling. And guess what? Nobody was talking about Minneapolis. Black, white, Hispanic, European, all kinds of people at the beach, all kinds of people in these packed restaurants. The only thing they were talking about is, wow, man, it's actually warm down here. And I feel safe. See, that was another thing I heard two people say. You know, I left my purse in the car. Don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? You're okay here. Imagine that in other areas, people are not understanding. You got that kind of safety down here. We've got that kind of lifestyle. Nobody's looking to steal your pocketbook because they probably got an $800 Dooney and Burke bag. They're okay. Everybody's happy. They're having fun. Look at the beach. I showed the video. The beach was packed. There was no mention of Minneapolis. There was no mention of the criminals. There was no mention of the guy who got shot. It was just people enjoying life. You see, if you want to continue enjoying life wherever you are, it's important that we deport these criminals, that we deport these newcomers. It's important that we actually double down, not negotiate on how we can do less, how we can, make it easier for them so they're not crying and, no, just the opposite. Give them a hobo's, you-know-what, from the clip I showed you, and tell them, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Period. There is no compromise. There is no middle ground. Go screw yourself. Otherwise, elections don't matter anymore. That's where they're headed. They are telling you right now, although Trump got elected in a landslide and he ran on the platform of let's get these people out of here, they are telling you elections don't matter. We can have our way. Trump can go stick it. They are trying to redefine the immigration policy for the entire country, no matter what the voters said last November. And right now they're doing it in Minneapolis. Do you think for an instant, I mean like this much, that if they win, that they're not coming to your town? If you think that it's just there where they're getting away from it, let them go ahead and win. Let them see Trump back down. Let them be able to beat their chest and say, we beat America. We're going to let all these people here and you guys can't stop us. God help us. I mean, that would be the true end of America. When they say things like, and I posted this earlier, when they say American values, this isn't us. This isn't us. We shouldn't be like this. And I've seen NFL players, I've seen NBA coaches. We're better than this. Yeah, we're a lot better. We're a lot better when these people aren't in our country. We're a lot better when you're not stealing billions and billions of dollars. We're a lot better when kids and women aren't having vile things done to them and people looking the other way and judges letting them out. Oh, we're much better. We're much better when we're America, not this muddy thing that they're trying to create. Every single person that I saw who put up some stupidity like, we're better than this, our democracy and our values are better. What values do you think they are going to instill in your town if they get their way? There won't be an American value. There won't be an American way of life. everything from the housing density to where you live to the way things are taught in schools and kids playing different sports. That's what people aren't talking about. Wait a minute, you guys are damaging our way of life. You're destroying our values. No, men can't become pregnant. There's no value I have that says men can become pregnant. There's no value that I have that says a boy should be playing in a girl's sports. It's all a mind F. I won't say the word, but it's all a complete mind F. And unfortunately, it's working on some people. It's working on some people who think that maybe we should just get along. Maybe we should talk and hug it out. That's what they want. They want. The reason why they're doing all the stuff that they're doing is because that's what they want. They want you to acquiesce. They want you to bow down. Instead, you need to get up and be ready to fight. Notice nothing has burned yet. Do you know why nothing has probably not burned yet? Because there's too much money in these buildings. There's too much theft and grip. It may burn when they need to get rid of the records. They may be in there shredding and doing whatever they need to do now. But when I saw the Data Republic and she uncovered some building, the building right outside where that guy got shot had something like 180 nonprofits in that one building. That was like 1,000 square feet. Imagine the amount of cash that's been running through that building. These people are trapped. They are absolutely trapped, and then some people on the right are beginning to let them off the hook. You know, this is bad. You know, we shouldn't do this. Bullshit. You've got these people with your boot on their throat. And if you let your boot off these people's throat, they're gonna come for you. That's one of the things I saw today. I was like, yeah, this is good. We're good. Everything's fine. People are having fun. But what happens when women can't wear certain things on the beach? Far-fetched? Look at Ellen Omar. Your very way of life would be destroyed and taken from you. We can't let that happen. J.D. Vance spoke about it as well. And J.D. said, this level of engineered chaos is unique to Minneapolis. It is the direct consequence of far-left agitators working with local authorities. I love what he said there. A lot of people probably missed that. Working with local authorities. This is, not to make fun of the Steely Dan album, but this indeed is the royal scam. It's dirty from bottom to top. They are now finding out just how dirty all of this is. I mean, if you want to begin looking at some of this stuff yourself, oh, by the way, you want to see how dirty this is? Tim Walz called in the National Guard. That's the National Guard in those light-colored vests that they're wearing so that the protesters can know who's National Guard and who's not National Guard, because the National Guard are, quote, the good guys. You see, the National Guard are the people who are going to bring you hot coffee and donuts while you're protesting. I don't know if you've seen this, but that is the National Guard handing out donuts and coffee to protesters. They're a bunch of cucks. They're a bunch of cucks. Here, would you like some? Don't hit me. We'll give you some donuts and coffee. That's why President Trump hasn't called up the National Guard in Minnesota. They're pansies. These people are wearing specific clothing to let the protesters know, wink, 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 we're on your side. Don't hit us. Don't come after us. And you pastors out there, or you people who have pastors that basically took the knee. I like pastors that say this kind of stuff. What we're witnessing right now is not political, it's demonic, it's lawlessness, it's anarchy, it's rebellion. We're seeing attacks on ICE agents, interference with lawful arrests, officers being struck, mobs protecting illegal aliens with serious criminal backgrounds. At the same time, protesters are storming into churches during worship services and disrupting the gathering of believers, claiming they have a right to do so. Jesus warned us. that the last days would look like the days of Noah, marked by lawlessness. Isaiah said it clearly, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. This isn't about Trump or party politics. It's about civilization. It's about the West, and it's about the targeting of Christianity. I am not going to step on anybody's religious toes today. Your faith is your faith. But if you don't recognize that you are a target because of what you believe, and if you're not prepared to fight for that belief, you're in trouble. I'm in Florida. I can't help you. At some point, you can't even count on the police anymore to help you. You have to be ready. You have to be trained. But first of all, you have to have it in your heart and your mind that you're under attack. And if you don't recognize that, none of us can really help you from that perspective. None of us. It's one of those things right now. And by the way, that woman I showed you, let me jump ahead here. The woman I just showed you, who said that you have to lay your life on the line, she's not some ordinary woman. She's the lieutenant governor of Minnesota. That's her. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. She's on the Signal chat coordinating the doxing harassment of ICE agents. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second after the break. In addition, and here she is right there, another one. Tim Walz's campaign strategist, Amanda Kohler, was in the Signal chats coordinating the doxing and harassment of ICE agents as well. These people are knee-deep into this. The government of Minnesota has turned on its people, has turned on America. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Signal chats, you're about to find out. Give me a second. I'm going to take some comments before I go too much further. I'll be right back.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So I see some of you in the chat are talking about the Signal chats. And for those of you who haven't followed along and don't know what the Signal chats are, Signal is a platform that people can use for messaging. It's encrypted and things of that nature. Even the government uses it. Remember, that's why Mike Walls was booted out, because he had invited a reporter to the Signal chat. And lo and behold, the Democrats in Minnesota are using Signal to dox ICE. And they are so coordinated. I mean, if you haven't seen what Cam Higbee put up, I would definitely tell you to go watch it. It sounds like you're listening to the dispatch of the police department. They are calling out signals, telling people, get over on 34th Street right now. 34th Street, we got the yellow sedan, license plate 12345. Go ahead and check it out. Surround it. Let us do. And I'm like, are you serious? And so Jack Posobiec posted something. He said, the last 24 hours were a great litmus test to see who's going to crack under pressure and fall for the leftist agitprop. So many based anti-transformer people have no stomach for what needs to be done to take our nation back. I agree. So what I'm going to show you here is showing you why he says take the nation back. These people have really set their hooks into Minneapolis and Minnesota, and there's no doubt that they're probably trying to set up satellites elsewhere in other states. So let me just show you. Elon Musk even got involved on this. He posted, wow. And Cam Higbee, this is the guy who basically dropped it. And he goes, I've infiltrated organizational signal groups all around Minneapolis with the sole intention of tracking down federal agents and impeding, assaulting, and obstructing them. Buckle up, all will be revealed. And this is a long thread. I encourage you guys all to go ahead and read it. There's just so much here, so many different links. He got into their signal chat. There's a video down here that I'm gonna, let me see if I can download this real quick. If I can download this will probably just, it will blow you away. I hope he doesn't get me in trouble for this, but I want you guys to be able to hear this because I hadn't planned on playing it, but I'm like, yeah, I think we should play it just to give you guys the idea of how bad this stuff is and what they've been doing. Let me see, which one is it? Let me grab this one. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you guys have heard of this. Have you guys actually seen or heard this chat? I'd love to know what you guys think at this point if you've heard it. If you haven't heard it, you're going to be shocked. Let's see here. They're evil but not stupid. Here, let me show this. Want to make sure you guys have, if you guys have heard it, where did it go? Wait 1 second here. I'm trying to find it. And where did it go? Okay, here it is. All right, this is from Cam Higbee, who dug into the signal chat. I want you guys to hear this.
White Chevy Silverado with the newly changed plates with the coexist sticker on the back. We're on Irving and Lake Street going north on Irving. We seem to be the only commuters following. Just wanted to give an update on our location.
Thank you. Do you have anyone in the car with you?
Yes, I do.
Lovely. Thank you.
And we are getting a photo sent to the chat for confirmation.
So what you're hearing is Cam and his crew are driving in this car. They've already been picked up and identified by this group. This group here, they're like, hey, where'd this car come from? Subsequent, they have now found out, basically, when you go into Minneapolis, Minnesota, you are watched from the time your plane lands until the time you hit the ground. There are people working in the airport. There are people working at the rental car station. There are people throughout the gas stations who are reporting all this information. Simply the way you look. You look like you might be a Fed. They have no idea who is or who isn't a Fed. They just know here's a car that came from the airport that has this license plate. People start following it. Let's see what these people are doing. That's the coordination that we're up against. And we got people going, I don't know if we're at this war thing you're talking about, Barry. You hear this? I got off an airplane, I rented a car, and they had access to the database, and they knew everything about me.
This is John 612. That we are at Grand and Lake. We're heading toward Irving. We can try and join you.
Thank you, John 612.
Hey, this is Lokito. I'm getting some messages from the WhatsApp group that they're driving around on 28, 29 Pleasant and Pillsbury Avenue. Do you want to swing by there first? I'm making my way down that way as well. I am on Lake and Park.
I'll relay to the Spanish chat, or sorry, relay to the Uptown Whittier.
Tired.
Thanks, Aaron.
That Ford just gray Ford just passed.
On the car. Exactly. That's it.
Please go on mute. John 612, please go on mute.
It's going to be a right, the next right.
Lokito, go ahead.
The next right, Chicago.
Yeah, that gray F-150 just drove past me on the...
All right, so I want you to understand this. This is Cam and his crew listening to the people spotting him. How scary must that be? You're just driving along and you're hearing people going, yeah, the F-150 just turned left. We got him. Who the hell is this we people? Who are you zombies out there that are following this guy around? How do you know who he is? You don't. You just don't want him there. It's absolutely insane. Now imagine this in your neighborhood. That's the whole thing with this.
Opposite way towards Cedar. That was on Lake and Park.
That's us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You could say we've got 2 commuters behind that F-150.
That's confirmed.
Do we have anyone in this call who's at 28th, 29th Pleasant right now? Lokita, you're not there, correct?
Don't wave at them. Okay, do not wave.
Correct. I am on 3rd and Lake. I will be there in probably like 2 or 3 minutes.
This is Liv. I'm at Cedar and Lake going west. Do you want me to keep an eye out?
I'm concerned about the reports from the Spanish WhatsApp about 28th to 29th and Pleasant. Ern's relaying to Uptown, but Lokito, if you could head there, if you're up for heading there and you're only a minute or 2 out, that'd be great.
29th Pleasant.
Hey, this is Fubar. We're also about a minute out.
So what you just heard was them following the car. And as they were going around, they were trying to find out where this F-150 that obviously he rented getting into town, and they wanted to know who this guy was, where he was going. Let me see if this one has, hold on, 1 second here. I'm trying to see if I can add in another video here, whether or not this one has loaded. Doesn't look like it's loading. Nope, it's not loading. All right, but there's a second video. Wait 1 second. Let me see one more time. Number 2222. If I can download this, then I can show you, because after they followed him and they went around the town and did different things, then they went ahead and interdicted. They actually approached him. Check this out.
These 5 observers are on there. KM, I'll probably have you stay on that F-150, but anyone else that's on this call that is currently on that F-150, I think we could use our resources and energy better somewhere else.
Sprout, I agree. If there's somewhere you want to send us, that's great. Otherwise, we could go up into Phillips.
Is there someplace else you want to send us? They sound like they're patrol cars. They sound like they are actually on patrol. They followed Cam from the time he picked up the rent-a-car. They knew what his rental car was. I don't think if they had his name, and it came all the way through the city. Hey, you got this, you got that. That's the coordination that they have right now.
If you want to go up into Phillips, that's great. I'm going to attempt a roll call here in a minute. Got it. Sprout, do you have a passenger?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to show you this part. It's raw. And when I say raw, because there's going to be some bad language. And I didn't have a chance to screen it and block it out. So you're going to hear the raw language of what these people said to Cam as he was just simply driving around the neighborhood. So gird your loins, because there's some bad stuff here.
Okay, KM, you disengage.
So that was, I'm sorry, that wasn't the one. That was the one where he was trying to lose them because they were on him. I'm glad it wasn't the one I was thinking of. There's the next one, which I won't show you then, is people got out of the car behind him and went up to the window. Who are you? What are you doing here? Get the F out of our neighborhood. I'm like, what? How are you going to tell me I got to leave? Get the F out of here. I mean, the guy was screaming at him. And then another guy walked up to him and said, you got ID? Wait a second. Isn't this whole thing about checking people's papers? And you did the exact same thing? I posted it on my on my X profile in case you want to dig for that. But it's got a whole bunch of expletives where the guys absolutely go crazy. This is nuts. And I think more Americans need to see what Cam uncovered. I mean, he uncovered so much. Even Mario Nawfal says, I've gone through these signal groups used by the protesters, and the amount of effort they put into targeting ICE is a full-time job. Excuse me. They are hard workers. Good for them. Just a question, though. How do they make money? Who's funding all of this? And as you see in the video, these are just how many of them are doing this? There's a whole group of these people that are doing it. And you don't realize you're in a war yet. That's your most dangerous position. You're not realizing where you are. I talked about the lieutenant governor, and here she is. Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is one of the admins of the Signal chat. This means that the state of Minnesota is behind the protests, not just behind the protests, they are coordinating it. Let that sink in. The lieutenant governor is one of the leaders in that chat. She may have been one of the people that was talking and be involved in dispatch. It's not organic. It's an insurrection at the very top. And it's not even an insurrection at this point. This is straight up treason. Chad Mizelle, in case you guys don't know who Chad is one of the attorneys, chief of staff at the Trump DOJ, or was. He says, if this is true, and he's talking about, this is about that Peggy Flanagan woman. If this is true, she says she's a dispatch admin of the Signal chat group. Of course, Anita Smithson would include her to the group to run dispatch operations. Still trying to figure out who Boogie is. Maybe that's Tim Walz. There's a guy named Boogie in here that they're trying to figure out who he is. But he says, oh boy, did I do, what did I do? Anyway, he said, let me see if I can find it. I hit the wrong button and it took me all the way out. I want you to see this. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get a little quick to the uptake on these buttons. 1 second. Okay, found it. This is what Chad said. Chad said, if this is true and if the Signal chat can be tied to the Preddy shooting, Lieutenant Governor Flanagan is in serious trouble. Let me spell it out. If you're involved in a conspiracy here interfering with ICE operations and someone dies as a part of that conspiracy, even if the deceased is a co-conspirator, all participants in a conspiracy, well, he used conspiracy a lot in one sentence there, can be charged with the crime. Flanagan better lawyer up. She may have some federal agents who want to talk to her. This is getting really, really deep. And before I show you Mr. Bavino's press conference, which is up next, I want you to think about something. You saw everything Nick Shirley did. You've seen some of it. If you haven't seen it, go look yourself as well as to what Cam Higbee has done, all the stuff he's found out, everybody who's starting to dig into this. You realize Nick Shirley is just a 24-year-old kid. Cam Higbee, he's been doing these on-the-spot things for some time. But you realize, you have to think for yourself. Here's something I posed, and I want you guys to all ask yourself. Think this to yourself. Really ask this. Do you really think all of this in Minnesota is just now being exposed to the Trump admin because of citizen journalists? Think hard about that. Do you think that just now, because Nick Shirley did what he did and Cam Higbee did what he did and every other person, that all of a sudden the Trump administration just found out? And before you answer that question, I want you to also understand that this is a Trump administration that sent bombers over to Iran, blew it up, flew back, and people didn't even know. Helicoptered into Venezuela, extracted Maduro without any real combat, with all their technology, everything he talks about. Do you think the Trump administration doesn't know? Hell no. Of course he knows. Of course they've known. I can't even be sure if there were breadcrumbs saying, hey, go take a look at this because we need it disclosed. We need to have it shown. That, I think, is the biggest thing in all of this. It's not so much that Nick Shirley and Cam Higbee did much about it. They showed it to us. Now we know these people have access to national databases. They're tracing license plates in real time. Who has the ability to trace license plates in real time? It means someone in law enforcement. It means someone in government is passing on the data. Someone's passing on all this information. Not only were they notified of police shift changes, they knew that when the police were taking shift changes, they knew that. This is organized crime at a huge level. In fact, I don't even know if most of the mob people had this kind of information. They've got access to license plate data, which means they can probably look at a whole bunch of other stuff. SV says he's got some breaking news here. What is it here? SB didn't send me anything. SB's got some breaking news, but he didn't send me the link. Let me see what it says here. Miami airport evacuated over suspicious item. Bomb tech spotted entering the terminal. Oh, there it is. Thanks, it just showed up, SB. Let me pull it up. It says, breaking, Miami airport evacuated over suspicious item. Cops are checking it out now, but no one knows what it is yet. Flights are getting messed up and people are being rerouted all over the place. And so this is MIA. And I guess they're having all kinds of issues down there right now. We'll keep you abreast of what's going on. People don't seem to be all that concerned or walking around. So if there was something really dangerous, they would have already got all those people out of there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The reason why I'm kind of like nonchalant about it, I expect it at this point. I expect that these Democrats and these loons are going to do some stupid, crazy stuff. Absolutely nuts. We've got them cornered. It's back to my question. Do you think all these signal chats and locating databases and everything else and being able to go in there and chase people around, you think the Trump administration only found out because a couple of citizen journalists just exposed it? No. I think it was time to expose it. I think it was now that we go, we've shown people all of this. I think we've shown people that these people are absolute nuts. I don't think you could have invoked the Insurrection Act until you showed enough people where things were, how bad things really are. And I think now good people are starting to look and go, wait a second, you've got a network of communications, you've got billions of dollars in fraud, you've got the governor and mayor saying, nope, they're not going to stop. It's up to Trump to stop. We want to facilitate more breaking of the law. This is not going to end well whatsoever. Now, let me show you Bavino's press conference. It's not that long, but it's worth listening to.
People in Minnesota want to know when this surge will end. Has there been a date set? Is there a certain number of people you want to apprehend before you decide to ease the surge?
We continue to apprehend dozens, if not hundreds, of these criminal illegal aliens a day. We're going to continue conducting that mission. We're not going to put a date or a timeline to stop this mission. This mission's ongoing until there are no more of those criminal illegal aliens roaming the streets of Minneapolis.
Is there a number, though? You have to have a file.
There is a number, and it's called all of them.
Go back to the cuck chair, reporter, because you just got schooled. You just got schooled. See, they're looking for, how much is enough? We're going to get like 100 of them. We'll be okay. We'll let the rest stay. No, that's just it. All of them have to go. And until Tim Walz and Frey and the chief of police and Chuck Schumer and everybody understands, no, we're not, there's not a number. We're not going to just go, okay, the rest that broke the law, we're not going to enforce it anymore. All of them. Every single one. That's the goal. Whether we get there or not, the goal is every single one. The media, what? All of them. Tim Walz, all of them. We are not negotiating with terrorists. The mission is what the mission will be.
My name's Greg Bovino, Commander at Large for CBP Assets here in Minneapolis. I'd like to take a few moments here before we take questions and before we hear from my colleague, Mr. Marcos Charles, to talk about a subject that I think is very important given the events over the past couple of days. And that topic is the topic of choices. Choices. Now, choosing or making a choice is one of the only true freedoms that any of us really have, is to make a choice. Whether that's the choice to be here today as the media, the choice to go to school, join the military, join law enforcement. Making a choice is a freedom that resides within us. Now, good choices are important in life, as we all know. And many actions that take place are due to our choices. The choice to, say, cross the border illegally, that is a choice that someone makes. To cross the border illegally, that's a choice. The choice not to utilize the CBP Home app, that's a choice. Not standing in line and doing it the right way, that is a choice. And there are always actions that result from our choices. When you choose to use your 5-year-old child as a shield to evade law enforcement, that is a choice that someone makes. And there are actions and consequences that result from that choice. Or when you're a politician or a community leader, you make a lot of choices there, some very important, wide-ranging, and in-depth choices. When, as a politician, if you choose collusion and corruption as a choice, then there are consequences and actions that take place because of that. That's one reason the U.S. Border Patrol and ICE are here in Minneapolis by the thousands, is because of those choices. When politicians, community leaders, and some journalists engage in that heated rhetoric we keep talking about, when they make the choice to vilify law enforcement, calling law enforcement names like Gestapo, or using the term kidnapping, that is a choice that is made. There are actions and consequences that come from those choices. And then when you choose, when someone chooses to listen to a politician, a so-called journalist, a community leader that spouted that type of vilification towards law enforcement or anything else, when you choose to listen to that, that is a choice, and there are consequences and actions there also. I think we saw that yesterday. And those actions and choices can obviously have tragic consequences, bad outcomes, outcomes that law enforcement never wants to see. Law enforcement never wants to see a bad consequence due to a poor choice. Now, the these choices have reverberations throughout society. Let's take a look at, go ahead and put that on the screen, please. Yesterday, Border Patrol agents were engaged in a targeted law enforcement effort to apprehend this individual here, Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma. Look at his criminal record: domestic assault, intentional infliction of bodily harm, disorderly conduct. He's also got some other records there as well. This individual remains at large today. This individual is still roaming the streets today. This is the individual on that targeted law enforcement efforts that Border Patrol agents were engaged in yesterday when they were disrupted, assaulted, and prevented from conducting that Title VIII mission by individuals intent on making the choice to riot, to create anarchy, and to be a violent mob. This individual walks the streets today because of those choices made by politicians and those perhaps weaker-minded constituents that chose to follow directions of those politicians. Sad state of affairs. Now, enforcing the law is not a choice. I choose to be a Border Patrol agent. Mr. Marcos Charles chooses to be an ICE agent, but enforcing the law, that's not a choice, that is a duty. As we all know, those laws were enacted by Congress, signed by the executive, and upheld most of the time by the judiciary. Those are the laws of our land. That is our duty to enforce those laws, whether that's a Title VIII immigration law, whether that's chasing a bank robber or a spy or whatever else. That is our duty, whether it's a state and local law enforcement agency, and they make choices also. Do they support federal law enforcement going after Mr. Jose Huerta Chuma, or do they not? We all make choices. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues. Next slide. Our Title VIII immigration mission continues unabated here in Minneapolis, despite yesterday's tragedy that was preventable by folks making better choices, politicians, journalists, and would-be anarchists and rioters. This individual from Laos was apprehended within the past 24 hours. This operation continues unabated. This is evidence of that. We will continue to make these streets a safer place. It is our duty, because we choose to be Border Patrol agents and ICE agents, to take individuals like that off the streets so we can make Minneapolis and America a safer place. Thank you. Hold on questions until the end. Mr. Marcos Charles will talk and we'll take questions at the end.
All right, so before he starts talking, these choices that he's talking about are reaching out to the very recesses and power structure of the Democrat Party. Now, the Democrats see what's happening. They understand they're starting to lose their grip. When I say lose their grip, what's very interesting is this. Throughout everything that's been happening, if you believe polls are polls, whatever they are, U.S. Border Patrol was just found to have a +3 approval rating in the middle of relentless smears and attacks per the latest YouGov poll, 45-42. The media is losing. After everything that's been said, after all the crying, the whining, the death, and everything else, there's still an approval. This is why the Democrats have to react the way they're reacting. They are completely losing. They're trying to make you feel that you're on the losing side, but in essence, they're the ones who are on the losing side. America as a whole wants these people out. Not a few, not a couple. Can we come up with a number that we all like and put a bow on it? No, every single one of them. And it's your fault because you let every single one of them in. And so now they're calling in the markers. Barack Obama, he jumped in. He says the killing of Alex Preddy is heartbreaking. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. What are those core values, Barack? Which of the core values that you're talking about are under assault? Because the rest of us look at it and say, these people are not supposed to be in our country. The rest of us look at this and say, you're not supposed to be assaulting police. The rest of us say, if you don't go to a protest with an armed weapon, you're probably not going to get killed. If you don't try to run over an ICE officer with a car, you're probably not going to get killed. So which of the values do you think are being diminished? When you write something like this, we know the hostage video is coming very soon. And it's a long statement, yada, 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 yada. We don't care. We don't care. And then on top of that, then the other one had to come out. Oh, you have time to put out a statement, but you didn't have time to go to your deposition. Over the course of a lifetime, we face only a few moments where the decisions, which is what I just found that odd, we make and the actions we take will shape our history for years to come. This is one of them. What about your decision not to go in front of the hearing? Your wife's decision. The decision to bring all these people into our country. How now are we the bad people because we're trying to stop that? See, it was never our values to begin with. That was thrust upon us. You never asked us. You never said, hey, it's okay if we open a border and bring in 20 million people. No, what kind of value is that? You didn't ask us if we had to pay taxes every single year and we're going to give $20 billion to Somalians. No, what kind of value is that? Tell me, Bill. Tell me, Barack. Tell me how Ilhan Omar having $30 million in the bank when she had dirty, crusty feet from walking around in Somalia, now she's got $30 million. Tell me how that, what are the values you're talking about? What you're seeing is a psyop of epic proportions. Crime good, good people bad. Trump is meanie, we're good for letting them all in here. Now you're stuck. Because America is now seeing that these people in Minneapolis are bat poop crazy. Now you've shown the world that you're following people around with databases and watching them from the time they pick up their rent-a-car. Who the F are you people? I don't think there's any value as an American that I have that says you should be monitoring us by some other thugs to decide where people are going. Nobody's talking about that. Like Mr. Benvino said, decisions you guys made are now coming back on your head and you're not liking it.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I know Commander Bovino spoke about yesterday's incident and situation, but I also want to draw your attention to the continued uptick in violence we're seeing against federal law enforcement officials, not just here, but across the country. Yesterday, here in Minneapolis, a crowd of violent agitators tackled an ICE special agent when one of our special response teams went to assist. A protester literally bit off part of that agent's finger.
Did you guys see that? I mean, I forgot to put that in. While he's talking, I'll find it if you haven't seen it. She bit off one of the agent's fingers. These people are savages. They are animals. If they're willing to bite the finger off an ICE agent, what do you think they're willing to do? Can you imagine taking somebody's digit and saying, I'm going to bite that off?
The officer received immediate medical attention on the scene and was transported to the emergency room for treatment. We do want to thank the people at the hospital for the assistance and the staff who treated our officer. The officer is recovering, but is now permanently maimed and has lost part of his finger. I don't think I have to tell you that this kind of violence is unacceptable, but I also don't think I need to tell you that this kind of violence is not a coincidence. When sanctuary politicians, activists, and the media work hard to create chaos and fear instead of using their platforms to reassure their communities, this is the result. The reality is, and this is what Commander Bovino and I have been talking about all week, We're out here to arrest dangerous criminal illegal aliens so they can't victimize innocent people in our communities anymore. Since the beginning of this operation, we've arrested over 3,400 illegal aliens, removing criminals, gang members, and terrorists out of Minnesota communities, detaining them in ICE custody for removal from the country. Those are criminals who won't reoffend in our communities. Those are criminals who won't be creating more victims that could be one of your family members or loved ones. Some of these criminals that we arrested yesterday are on the scene, well, these are our agitators from yesterday, if anybody wants to take a picture of these people or haven't seen them yet. The first picture was the individual who decided to bite off one of our agents' fingers. Some of the criminals we arrested yesterday: 40-year-old criminal illegal alien from Honduras convicted of assault. A 51-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos convicted of assault also. A 45-year-old criminal illegal alien from the Ukraine convicted of first-degree robbery. And a 46-year-old criminal illegal alien from Laos who is convicted of facilitating child sex crime. ICE officers and agents are out there every day arresting the worst of the worst so law-abiding citizens in this country and in Minnesota can sleep easy at night. This work isn't about headlines, it's about public safety. We can now take some questions.
Commander Rubino. Previously in federal immigration custody in 2018 at a jail in Minnesota, and then was released under the Trump administration again in 2018. You talk about choice. That was also a choice to release this individual, the man that you were targeting, obviously to detain him. So if he was released in 2018 from federal immigration custody, why would that be the case? Why was that choice made?
Yeah, I don't know the particular case in 2018 that you're talking about, but this individual that we, if you want to put that back up there, please. That individual is now an illegal alien. It's my mission to find this illegal alien before he harms another American citizen and does harm. That's what I'm after there. And yet we can go back and look and blame in history. Right now, my mission is to take this individual off the street. And the main point here being is this individual is in the process of being taken into custody. Agitators, rioters, and anarchists prevented us from taking this individual into custody because of a very, very chaotic scene. This individual should be in custody right now, not out on the streets preying on Americans. That is the story that is most poignant here.
Commander Rubino, hi. Shooting from yesterday, and at no point is he seen Brandon.
I'm sorry, repeat that, please.
We have seen multiple videos from the incident yesterday from different angles, and at no point do we see Alex Preddy brandishing a weapon. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said that he was brandishing a weapon, and in the video we see him on the ground with his hands on his head. We see an officer leaving what it appears to be with the weapon after he extracted it from Preddy's waist area. Did the officers see the weapon? Did they see him brandishing the weapon at him?
Sure. Many videos out there, many different accounts that you may see, that I may see, that anybody here may see. That, folks, is why we have something called an investigation, to take what you're talking about, to take those videos, to take witness statements, to take officer statements, all those minute details that will paint a true picture, not a freeze frame concept, and paint a larger picture of what really happened. That is why we investigate, so we can get to the truth, so there's not speculation. Speculation after 24 hours, you've got a lot of speculation in there. That officer, let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You've had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Commander Rubino, between your agency and Commander
who's next?
Right here.
Commander, was Alex Preddy armed when he was shot?
Again, the investigation is going to uncover all those facts, things like how many shots were fired, where were the weapons located. All those facts are going to come out in the investigation. I wasn't there wrestling that assaultive subject that was assaulting Border Patrol agents. I wasn't there wrestling him myself, so I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to wait for that investigation to come. No, don't interrupt me. I'm going to wait till that investigation comes out until I make a decision there.
If there's an investigation going on and you have not concluded, isn't it possible this was a bad shooting? Or have you already concluded for yourself that this was justified?
I've not concluded anything. I've not given you a conclusion. But what I do know is this individual was on that scene several minutes before that shooting, interfering with a lawful, legal, ethical law enforcement operation to arrest Jose Huerta Chuma. And again, it's back to choices. We just talked about choices. When someone makes the choice to come into an active law enforcement scene, interfere, obstruct, delay, or assault law enforcement officers, and they bring a weapon to do that, that is a choice that individual made.
No, Commander Bovino, when it comes to the shooting, from what I understand, there were 2 agents who fired shots. We know one of the agents had 8 years experience, and we know he was a less lethal instructor and had his training. What did the other agent, what was his history, and are they both working right now, or are they on administrative leave?
All agents that were involved in that scene are.
You notice as you're listening to these questions, he's got a picture right there of Jose, raper, whatever he was, little kid grabber, Muchuda. Not a single question. Not a single question about the bad guys that they're taking off the street. They have no concern for the well-being of the people. You have the ability to ask him a question. What did this guy do? How many times has he done it? Nope, they just want to know he was free before. Why isn't he free now? But you don't want to know what he did. You don't want to know the crimes that were committed. You don't want to know any of that stuff. It doesn't matter. All we need to care about right now is getting this agent arrested and putting him in jail for killing the idiot protester. That's all they want.
Working, not in Minneapolis, but in other locations. That's for their safety. There's this thing called doxing, and the safety of our employees is very important to us. So we're going to keep those employees safe. As far as the number of shots, the number of agents involved, that, again, is going to come out in the investigation. I'm not going to speculate on who did what, when they did it, how they did it, or what exactly occurred there. I'm going to wait for the investigation to let me know what happened. Yes. Because before those facts come out, we need to ensure that we're talking truthfully and accurately. And before I speculate, I'm going to talk truthfully and accurately.
Commander Bovino, between your agency, Border Patrol, and Mr. Charles, your agency, ICE, we've now seen 2 separate people shot and killed by your officers within 17 days. Do either of you plan on taking any accountability for those actions?
So I just want to make sure you heard what that guy just said. He said, we've seen 2 people killed within 17 days. Do you people want to take any accountability for those people being gone? Now I can't answer for him. I don't know what his answer is going to be, but here's what mine would be. I'm here to do a job. If you put me in a position where it's between me going home or you going home, I'm the one going home. My accountability is to my wife and family and my job. If you interfere, you might get dead. Next. That's how we'd answer him.
2 suspects, or you're correct, 2 suspects have been shot, and suspects that assault, delay, obstruct, or threaten a law enforcement officer's life. It goes back to the choices that we just talked about. When individuals make poor choices, poor decisions, come into a law enforcement situation, an active law enforcement situation, conspire to come into that situation, Whether that's based on ideology, we don't know. That'll be in the investigation that we just talked about. That's what we base the split-second decisions on, and our law enforcement officers are safe. They managed to come home at the end of shift. And, again, I would implore upon any individuals, whether they're anarchists, rioters, or anyone else that thinks it wise to go into a law enforcement scene to disrupt, to delay, is to don't do that. Let's think about that in terms, say a bank robbery is in progress and the police are taking care of that, and then you decide to go in there and perhaps take action. That's not a good idea in any form or fashion. The same thing with Title VIII. Same thing with Title VIII enforcement. We are after an individual with a very serious criminal record. We don't need any help. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. I mean, he's being having proper decorum. Imagine if it was down here in Florida, because the sheriffs down here, they'll tell you the what for.
Orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, it's Florida for you. That's the sheriff of Brevard County, north of me. This is the sheriff, Grady Judd. Some of you guys may have heard him.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Grady Judd. I've spent my entire adult life in law enforcement, and I have never heard of one law enforcement agency not helping another when they call for help until this weekend, when a chief of patrol where the Chicago Police Department instructed the police officers not to run in and help their colleagues who were calling for help, who were under attack by a bunch of people clearly violating the law. That's scary. Let me give you the antithesis of that. We had a single man resist ICE agents and get away from them in our community. We sent a helicopter, a drone, K-9, and 50 law enforcement officers to surround an area, and we found that guy who violently resisted ICE, and we locked him up in jail where he should have been. If you allow anarchists and criminals to run wild in your community, people will die. People will be shot. Now, let me say this. For other law enforcement leaders across this state and nation, you need to be standing up saying the same exact thing that I am. Because when you have a breakdown of the rule of law, when you allow anarchists, criminals to take over the streets and attack law enforcement officers and then not send them help, that's a slippery slope, a real slippery slope.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so we're at that part of the show where I'm going to shift gears, getting away from Minnesota. And, I've had a lot of people email me, and a lot of people like what I'm saying when I talk about prosperity and where things are going, when I talk about AI and things of this nature. So I'm going to spend the last part of this show, we're going to talk a little bit about prosperity. And some of it's based upon a question I got. Somebody had a question. And some of it's based upon some stuff that happened over in Davos, which I think is very, very interesting. I had another question where somebody said to me, I'm not feeling the effects. I don't understand what I can do with this AI stuff. And I play with Faith, and she comes on and introduces some of the stuff. But now you're going to find out some things, why it's so important to me, what I try to instill with everybody I work with in terms of going for a better life and reach higher in terms of their achievement. Again, like the sheriff said, Sheriff Bobino, making decisions that actually make sense in your life instead of focusing so much on the things that you have no control over. We have no control over what happens with Minneapolis or what President Trump is going to do or when he's going to drop the Insurrection Act. We don't have any timing. We don't have any power. We don't have any influence. We can't tell him what he's going to do. The only thing you have influence over is your own life. The only thing you have control over is what decisions you're going to make today, tonight, tomorrow, next week, and 3 months from now. Those are the decisions that are going to be of the utmost importance for you. And, in my little corner of the world, I try to share some of the stuff that I know and what I've done, and also bring in some other stuff that actually gives you some insight as well. So I want to play some things for you, and we'll take some questions, but I want you to take a listen to this. Listen to this. You'll recognize this guy.
Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So if everybody doesn't buy into the same principles and values of the organization at the same high standard, you're never going to be successful. Just like our spring practice right now. You know what my goal with spring practice is? Get the right guys on the bus, get them in the right seats, and get the wrong guys off the bus. So one of these days you're going to be working in an organization and somebody's going to try to do that to you. So which one of those people do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody they're trying to get off the bus because you're satisfied with mediocre performance? Because you can never have any team chemistry in your organization if everybody's not committed to the same standard and the same things.
Yes, I played football. Yes, that was Nick Saban, formerly of the University of Alabama. National championships, professional players, all kinds of things. And what he said there is not something that's foreign. A lot of coaches, a lot of athletes feel that same way. We have to be completely committed. We have to understand what the goal is that we're going for, and we have to look down upon the people who don't have the same goals. We have to actually look and say, I don't want you on the bus. You are not up to par. We don't need you. You're bringing us down. When your name gets read, you want to be a part of that group, that toxic masculinity that says, I am better. I have achieved more and I still want to achieve. And sometimes that kind of talk offends some people because they've never heard it. They've never understood that mediocrity is saved for those who don't like success, and it's basically espoused by people who do want success. I could even take that into the political realm right now with President Trump, with everyone saying everything about Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and all this kind of stuff. Then you're saying that Nick Saban or Donald Trump doesn't have the right players on the bus, that they don't have the same zeal, the same fortitude, the same drive as he does, or Stephen Miller does, or, Scott Besson or Kevin Hassett. And you're saying that coach is not driving the bus successfully. So at this point, the whole theme of this show today was, I'm going to let him cook. I didn't know before I planned the show today that he was going to come out and give those demands. That's exactly what you should have wanted to see. That's eliminating mediocrity. That's letting the world know I am not going to put up with this crap anymore. You have exhausted everything from me. And so whether it's political, whether it's familial, whether it's vocational, it should all transfer. Those skills should always be the same. I don't want mediocre people around me. I don't want losers around me. I don't want to do business. I don't want to hang out with them. I want to be around people who are going to make me better. If that hurts people's feelings, so be it. Barry being an ass. But you know what? I'm going to be a happy ass. I'm going to have a happy wife, and I'm going to have happy people that work with me. I'm going to have happy grandchildren. I'm going to have a happy daughter, because that's what matters to me. And so I don't want anything mediocre, and I don't want to have losers around me. I want everybody to be on that bus going, let's go. Let's go. I want you to push me. How often, and I want to ask you a question, how often are you pushed in your life? If you're not the one pushing, is someone else pushing you? And if no one's pushing you, you're surrounded by the wrong people. You're on the other bus. So let me show you this by Mike Rowe, because a lot of you guys are worried about AI. I want to show you this.
I don't have much new to say about the impact of AI on skilled labor. I've been a broken record on this for years. But that's Jensen Wong. He runs NVIDIA. He's at the World Economic Forum, and he's being interviewed by Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock. This is a heck of a thing to wake up to as you're waiting for the coffee to kick in, if you're me.
So all these breakthroughs raises concerns about the human element. You and I have had many conversations on this, but we need to tell the whole audience, there is a huge concern that AI is going to displace jobs. And you've been arguing the opposite. Obviously, the build-out of AI, as you talked about, the biggest infrastructure build-out in history is going to occur, which
energy is creating jobs, chips industries.
Right. And I guarantee you didn't see this anywhere. You see, for some reason, the news stations, including Fox, they turn away when they start talking about people improving their lives. I have no idea why. To me, this was as important as anything else that came out of Davos, and more than likely, you never heard it.
Creating jobs, the infrastructure layers creating jobs, land, power, and shell, jobs. I mean, right? It's incredible.
So let's get into that in a little more detail. So you actually believe we're going to face labor shortages. And so how do you see that AI and robotics changing the nature of work rather than eliminating it?
Yeah, there's several different ways that we can think through it. First of all, this is the largest infrastructure build out in human history. That's going to create a lot of jobs. And it's wonderful that the jobs are related to tradecraft. We're going to have plumbers and electricians and construction and steel workers and network.
All right, stop, Jensen. Did any of those things so far cover people in your family or people you know? Because they've been told that AI was going to displace jobs. And nobody's out there saying, oh, you're not going to imagine the amount of jobs that we're going to be creating. In fact, people are trying to shy away from AI because they're not being told this is where, this is where the puck is going. And I had somebody send me something today, and they're like, Barry, you can't go to where the puck is going if you're not sure the puck is right. And my question or answer to that person was, just because you have concerns about where that puck is going, it does not mean the puck's not going there. Your research, your comfortability in being uncomfortable are those things that you're going to have to manage if you want to be on the bus with the rest of us. Otherwise, step. And so as you're hearing one of the richest guys in the world who runs NVIDIA, which makes all the computer chips and everything, he's telling you we're going to need hundreds of thousands of jobs in America.
Technicians and people who install and fit out the equipment, and all of these jobs, in the United States, we're seeing quite a significant boom in this area. Salaries have gone up, nearly doubled. Yeah. And so we're talking about six-figure salaries for people who are building chip factories or computer factories or AI factories. And we have a great shortage in that. And I'm really delighted to see so many people in so many countries really recognizing this important area. You know, everybody should be able to make a great living.
I'm delighted too. Question.
And I'm delighted as well. Everybody should be able to work to have a good living. And it's six-figure jobs. They're talking hundreds of thousands of them. Nobody's telling people, here's what you need to do.
What are we going to do about it? Here's an idea. This year, my foundation got 10 times the applications for trade school scholarships than we got last year. 10 times. People are getting the memo. They're just not quite sure what to do about it. I think we ought to convene, maybe not in Switzerland, maybe somewhere stateside, and talk about rethinking the way we train the next generation for these jobs. But we are in violent agreement on this. It's a massive undertaking. We're going to need hundreds of thousands of skilled workers that we currently don't have. The stakes seem awfully high. And for what it's worth, gentlemen, I'm at your disposal. If I can be of use, call me.
You know, as you're listening to Jensen talk and as you're listening to Mike Rowe talk, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of thing that can destroy people and keep them forever on the little mediocre bus. This isn't about BlackRock. This isn't about NVIDIA. It's about neither one. It's about you. That's the problem people are having. They're sitting back and pointing fingers and saying, NVIDIA and BlackRock, evil, evil, evil. Everything's evil to people if they don't understand it. The reason it's evil because you haven't done the work to educate your mind to understand what it is. There's nothing jumping off the computer and telling me, kill your mom, kill your dad, oh my God, kill everybody. No! If I were going to go and look at porn and make porn women and that's evil. But I am in control of what I type. Unless you're saying you're afraid of what you would do with AI. And I can't help you with that. Nobody can help you with that. If you have a predilection where you're going to put in, can you show me chicks with big boobies and blah, 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 that's on you. The machine just sits there. My machine will sit right there until I hit my keyboard. There is nothing that machine is going to send me until I ask it. So if my heart is in the right place, if my mind is in the right place, then it's going to give me stuff that I request because I am already in the right place. Show me all of the houses in 00142 zip code that are currently in probate, that at least have 3 bedrooms and at least have 2 bathrooms and have at least 1,700 square feet with a pool. Boom. Thank you. You see how that works? I didn't ask it to show me boobies. I didn't ask it to show me naked kids or porn. I asked it to help my business. So when people say that's evil and that's evil, everything is evil. A television is evil. This thing here is evil. YouTube is evil. If you allow it to be. And so when I hear people say that, and I don't know the person who put that up there, I'm doubting you. I'm wondering what it is you've been traversing the interwebs looking at. Oh, I can't go there. Oh, my goodness. Well, maybe I can. Oh, yeah, it was as bad as I thought. Was it really that bad? Oh, let me look again. Oh, yeah. Let me look again. Yes, that's you. See, the rest of us are going to look at things and say, how can we better our lives? I'm not saying you necessarily have to make money. Bettering your life can be like Robin did today. And I sat back and watched her, and she wanted a recipe. So she talked to her cousin, and she's starting to drink some sort of organic milk thing that she had a recipe for. And her and her cousin were going back and forth, and she was using AI and say, what can I substitute? I don't want to have sugar. What can I use? She uses monk fruit. And now she's got a nice drink that she's going to drink at night to help her sleep better. She's doing everything to keep the two of us healthy. I don't have a problem sleeping. I've told you, there's a couple of things I take and I'm gone. She made an unbelievable dessert 2 days ago before we went down to the casino. It's some sort of sugar-free carb thing, low apple strudel thing that I just want to just take in bed and rub it all over my face. AI helped her make that. AI helps her and says, you know what? I want to go ahead and paint a parrot over a ship with a pirate. Can you show me that? No, like make the parrot more colorful. Make the sky kind of gray. AI. She went to another art show today. Sometimes she just goes to art shows. She doesn't even buy stuff. She just wants to see what the people are painting. And she spoke to an artist today, and the artist goes, yeah, I get inspired with AI all the time. It's not the machine, it's you. If you think it's evil, can't help you. Don't know why. Don't understand it. That's on you. I mean, one of the things that you guys have been around for some time, and we've talked about this for nearly a year or more, and that's with silver. And dang, silver is absolutely flying. 106. 106. The market just opened up about an hour and a half ago, and it's already at 106. And you see the graph. It's exploding. AI? No, that's just knowing and talking to people who know what the hell they're doing. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to have Kevin Demerit here from Lear Capital. We're going to be talking as to what in the heck is going on with the silver market and how high can it actually go. Again, it's just knowledge. You know, AI is ideology. Yeah, it's what you put into it. We're all talking about the bad poop in America, and then there's someone talking about buying a new laptop while silver is flying. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Now it's time to understand what you can do to make yourself agnostic in regards to if the Democrats do take over. What do you do? Let's say our worst nightmare happens and the Democrats somehow find a way to get back in power. Are you just going to accept it, or are you going to do something about it? See, I'm making sure that either way, I'm politically agnostic financially. I'm going to take everything President Trump is giving us an opportunity for, and I'm going to make sure that if somebody else gets in who I don't like, we're going to be prepared with all kinds of tax advantages and everything else. So let me show you something. I got a question yesterday. Was this yesterday? January 24th? Yeah, yesterday. This question was reference to something I posted. I said, I got mad at Mark Mitchell once again. Boomer, doomer, boomer, doomer. And Mark said, home prices are objectively too high compared to the median incomes. And my response was, yeah, it's always about the price, not the income. And losers always blame other people. Boomers. Doomers should be shocked to see how even young people can prosper in the real estate business. Maybe instead of being a friggin' whiner, people should focus on the massive prosperity opportunity in the market right now. And Danielle came up and she said, all right, Barry, I love when people call me. All right, Barry, drop the real playbook. What's your number one source for reason what she's talking about is where is it? Where's my comment? Yeah, there's my comment. By the way, every property I buy is at least 30% below value, which ensures a huge profit, and none of these doomers ever ask me how I do it. None of them. None. Every single property is at least 30% below value. Won't buy it if it's not, period. and so Danielle says, okay, drop the real playbook. What's your number one source for consistent 30% off deals in 2025 and 2026? Foreclosures, probate, tired landlords, off-market cold calls. Serious question, not hating. Well, the answer to her question is all the above. You do it all. That's just it. I don't do cold calling anymore because I don't need to. A lot of people, when they first start out, have to do cold calling. But foreclosures, check. Probate, check. Tired landlords, check. See, that's the thing, is people think it's really secretive and hard to how to do it. It's not hard. It takes work. And then once you hone your skills, it becomes a little bit easier. So I was out yesterday looking at some deals, and I made a GoPro video while I was driving around. I want you guys to hear this. Some of you guys may like it, and then go ahead and put some questions in as you hear this. All right, everybody. So people are asking me, Barry, how do you buy houses? And especially, how do you buy houses at 30% off? Well, it's a really simple answer to that question. Very simple answer. You ask. There's your answer. It's the persistence of knowing what your number is. It's the persistence of knowing what you can sell the property for. It's a persistence of knowing what you're going to be paying, what your interest and your debt service is going to be. It's knowing what you have to spend to renovate or improve the property. And it's just simple math. And then from there, all I do is ask. And that, as simple as that sounds, that's it. I already know. I don't even have to do much work. I can look at a couple databases. I can see how much something is. I can see what it could be worth on a resale. And then I pick my number with my formulas and things I do. I pick my number and I make the offer accordingly. I don't care if they like it. I don't care if they never call me back. They always do. But that's the number. And I think some people misunderstand. Obviously, Mark Mitchell, obviously people who think boomers are causing problems, but they don't understand. You control it. You control the entire situation. You're not going to get ripped off. You're not going to lose because you control going in. Simply ask, meaning I put the offer in, not at what they're looking, the listing price. I don't care about a listing price. I put in an offer based upon what I'm willing to pay. I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine, especially you guys, I want you to imagine going to a Victoria's Secret party and there being 100 models in there. 100 models of Victoria's Secret all sitting around, and you don't ever ask them to dance. You will never know which one may say, yeah, I'll dance with you. See, the thing is, if there's 100 properties that I target, I will ask each and every one, do you want this price? I am willing to buy the property at this price. See, a lot of people don't realize, especially in real estate, you control the transaction. You can never get ripped off. You are the one who's going to say, this is how much I'm willing to pay. And hopefully you've done your due diligence, you've done your numbers, you've driven by the property, you make sure it's got a roof, it's actually there, it's not burned down. Make sure you do your homework, make sure there's no code violations, all that kind of stuff. All the background. But once you're ready to pull the trigger and drop an offer, take it or leave it. There's 100 women at the dance. If you ain't asking them to dance, they're never going to dance with you. 99 may say no. All 100 may say no. And then one of them gets bored and says, yeah, I'll dance with you. And now you've got to dance with a supermodel. I got married to one. And then things are great. All because you took the shot. If you don't take the shot, there's nothing you can do. You can sit around and blame boomers all your life. I can't believe the price on this property, the boomers, there's so much. Number one, you didn't improve your income. And number two, how do you know what you can buy it for? The thing says they want $300,000. I don't give a shit what the thing says. That's the problem when you see on Realtor.com or Zillow, wherever you go, and you see the price. Ignore the price. The price is based upon what you're willing to pay. If you look at a property and it says they're looking for $300,000 and it's been on the market for 400 days, guess what? It has already been proven the house ain't worth $300,000. If it was worth $300,000, it wouldn't have been sitting there for 400 days. So that's a big secret at this point, is people don't realize you control the entire transaction and you make your money when you buy. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that. And I don't care whether you say yes or no, because somebody is going to say yes. One of those 100 people that I make an offer to is going to say yes. Here's the real key. They may not say yes today. They may say, no, I'm not taking that offer. No, it's a low ball. No, you're trying to screw me over. Well, just smile at them. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let me know if anything changes. And you'd be surprised how many people call back in a couple weeks looking for that offer you gave them a couple weeks ago. At which point, you're like, nope, that offer doesn't make any sense anymore. You just proved my case. You just proved to me that your property isn't worth what you thought it was. So now my offer is even less. See, with the strategy of saying no is amazing. See, you turn down my offer, then you call me back and you want the offer I gave you. Nope, that's gone. That was before. Now it's going to be even lower. You can say no again. I'll be here, but understand, if I tell you 200 and you wait 2 or 3 weeks and call me back and say, okay, can we deal now? Nope, now it's 180. It doesn't go up. It goes down based upon the time it takes for you to sell the property. So I'm building in profit before I even make the offer. And I understand this is like very basic stuff for some people, but some people don't realize it. They think that the price is what it is, or you might get outbid. It doesn't matter. The work in what I do is putting out as many offers as possible to get what I want to get, and then being able to close, or having other people who will close on the deal. Somebody asked the question, Barry, what do you think of property and probate? Good deals? Can be. Probate deals can be extremely profitable if you buy it at the right price. Everything can be extremely profitable if you buy it at the right price. You talk to the heirs who decide, grandma's house got sold, and grandma, we're the the 2 grandkids and a sister that have the title to the property. Yeah, that can be very lucrative, because those people, you already know one thing. They don't want to move in. And since Joey and Jimmy and Sheila don't want to move in, they're already telling you, we want the cash from grandma's house. So you're looking for some found money. Grandma kicked it, and you're looking to sell her property. Yeah, pretty much. All right, well, let's have a deal. That's what you got to do. And we can keep playing this game. I can hang up the phone and you can wait another couple of weeks, but when you call me back in a couple of weeks, it's going to be even lower. The secret to all of this, the secret to making money, is knowing what you're going to make before you buy it. So when you buy a house, or when I buy a house actually, I already know what I expect to make from it before I even close on it. All right, so I got a statement here from somebody, and somebody goes, we bought a foreclosure on Lake Erie for 1/3 the asking price. Bingo. Let me give you a heads up on that one. It's funny when I do these segments, and I always watch, and it's really interesting how some of the numbers go down, because people are like, prosperity? I can't talk about prosperity. I can't do anything. And I understand that. I understand we're going to see some drop off with people, and that's fine, because the rest of you, if you find value in this, I'll keep showing you some of this information. What does it say here? Barry, please upload this as a separate video. Okay, I will. Let's see here. My brother and I are looking in on buying properties, buying some properties and flipping them and making a little cash on the side. Very profitable if you do your homework, if you know what the numbers that you should be doing. Let's see here. Exactly what I'm doing in a deal in Florida right now. Congratulations. Congratulations. It works. Oftentimes, I already know who's going to buy it before I even close on it. So if you have that knowledge, if you have that confidence, yep, I know what my numbers are. I know I'm going to buy the property. I know what I'm going to resell it for. And I also know possibly who I'm going to sell it to. It's a no-brainer. You don't have to be a boomer. You don't have to be Gen X. You don't have to be Gen Z. You just have to know what the hell you're doing. And that's the problem with a lot of these people right now, is they're crying and they're complaining and they're bitching and they're pointing fingers at boomers did it and they closed the door behind me. No, you don't even know where the friggin' door is. That's the problem. The problem is they want it given to them. And I'm noticing in the comments that some of you guys are already doing this. You can share your techniques with people. Look at this from Jim. Jim says, that's exactly right. Got $30,000 knocked off my initial buying offer by doing exactly what Barry just stated. Thank them for their time. Yeah, it works. Silver, it works. AI, it works. Real estate, it works. The whole thing that I'm trying to share with people is the diversification and the ability to have these opportunities that Trump is now providing. You don't get this opportunity too often. What do you think is going to happen after Jerome Powell is out of there and the interest rates go down even further? It's going to be a land rush. It is going to be absolutely crazy. People are fixated on what the hell's going on in Minnesota, and it does nothing for you. Nothing. There is nothing happening in Minneapolis. People getting whacked and run over and everything. It does nothing for you. It just whets your appetite with some sort of lust to see craziness. Instead of spending your time understanding silver, understanding AI, and if it's real estate or Bitcoin or whatever, doing something and spending the time to improve your position, getting on that bus where you're leaving mediocrity behind. It's disgusting. I've never seen so many losers in my life all over social media, crying and bitching instead of just saying something very simple, like the woman did who just posed this question. How? Because if people ask how, they will find the answer, and then you got to take action. How many of you could take 99 no's consistently? Hey, how much for this? Would you take this? Would you take this? No, 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 no. Because to me, and I was taught, every no brings you closer to a yes. I remember the guy who told me that. Because every single time somebody tells you no, just by the law of averages, the law of math, you're getting closer to a yes. And that next yes, that first yes, never mind the second one, that first yes could be 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. That first yes. And what does it cost you otherwise? Nothing. They kept saying no. So they kept saying no. You could have bought silver a year ago at about 24, 25. Barry, don't rub it in. It's going crazy right now. I understand, but I don't know where it's going to. It's still about taking action. Many people just don't want to take the action. Many people don't even want to hear it. And if you're firm on your price, you're firm on your numbers, and you don't budge, you're going to make money. It's that simple. Hey, I'm willing to pay X. This is my number. It's firm. I'm not moving. So at that point, the only thing to negotiate is terms, not price. See, everybody on X, all these people on social media, oh, things are too high. Well, if the things are too high, then you have two options. One, negotiate the better terms, or increase your income, your revenue, and that's really simple. No one ever talks about the terms. Hey, I'd like to give you, you're looking for 30 grand down. I don't got 30 grand. I've got $2,000 now, and I'd like to give you a second note, a second mortgage for the other 28,000 that I'll pay off in 24 or 36 months. Nobody shows people that. You can get a second mortgage? Yeah, the seller can give you a second mortgage. That the seller has equity that they don't need right now, you can convert that into a second mortgage, and you can use that as part of your down payment. Or you can go to FHA, get a 3% down payment, and have it gifted to you. Somebody wrote, Barry, I'm so happy Trump is doing what he's doing. 2026 is going to be my best year ever. I'm a retired electrician and I'm ready to open. Yeah, absolutely. That's my whole thing. It's January 2026. There's no reason why in the next 12 months, each and every one of you couldn't double your income. And I know some people are on Social Security and like, how would that work? Well, there's so many. I had the guy from the Pelosi tracker here last week, and there's so many things you can do that aren't capital intensive. Ability to do something with that property, maybe subdivide it. I'm not going to get too complicated here, but maybe put 2 houses on that lot. Maybe you check the zoning and see how many units are available to be put on that piece of property. There's all kinds of ways to slice it. What people are saying when they say things are too expensive is they don't know how to buy it. They don't know how to make it work in today's market. I'm looking at the screen. 2 Bricks says my house listed for 69. It was in probate. I told him I only had 50 cash. He said, so you never know until you begin getting in there. And once you start digging in and basically using people skills. Now, sometimes, most of the time, you're probably going to deal with an agent, and the agent's going to tell you, oh, we got 14 offers. This thing's going to sell fast. I don't care. It's so chilling when you tell them, I'm not changing my numbers. In fact, it's going to go the other way. And so if you sell it for a higher price, congratulations. Doesn't hurt me. I'm just going to keep asking. If you're going to put out 100 offers in a month, think about that. If you're going to put 100 offers because you're just starting out, you want to see, what kind of fish do you get on the hook? And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. I had 2 or 3 people bite on that. Change your life like that. They're throwing their hands up, they're looking at the sticker price and walking away. They're seeing the pretty girl at the dance and they're afraid to even ask. They've been turned down too many times. Maybe go take a shower, maybe shave, maybe do different things so you are more approachable, that you can actually go up to the pretty girl at the dance. I'm not trying to give anybody any dating experience. I'm just telling you it's strictly a game of numbers. I don't think people understand it. I don't know why they don't understand it. Maybe they've never been taught. Maybe they've never had the opportunity to speak to people who actually work and understand numbers. It's math. It's simply math. The answer to your question is, the lady's question on this post, the answer is all the above. Every single thing you say. If you don't know that, and if you're not willing to actually do it, well, the old saying goes, keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. Instead of telling people it can't be done, boomers took all the money, they shut the door behind them, the prices are too high. That's wussy talk. That's actually people who don't know what the hell to do. So if you want to know more, let me know. I'm glad to tell people because it's all about action. Inaction does nothing for you. An object at rest will stay at rest until you move it. And so at this point, whether it's silver, whether it's AI, whether it's Pelosi tracker, whether it's real estate, whether it's Bitcoin, nothing is going to change until you take the change. And I'm happy to bring, like tomorrow, Kevin will be here on the show. And if you've got some questions for Kevin, go ahead and send them to me. Not in the chat because won't be in the chat, but hit me up on X and say, I'd like to know this from Kevin. There's a bunch of people out there now saying, if you buy silver, you can't sell it. I roll my eyes. I completely roll my eyes at these people because it's absolutely insane what's going on. Is this AI? Nope, this is me. It's me. It's in real time. That was a previous video of me in a car, which I got this little GoPro thing. So I invested in a GoPro. And so I'm like, you know what? If I'm spending time in a car, I could probably make a video in a car. So I've got my little rig hooked up to the windshield, and I can just go ahead and put this on the windshield. Okay, hold on. There's my GoPro. I can put this on the windshield and make a video while I'm driving, and then I can show it to you guys whenever. So I'm trying different things. Now, I'm going to keep pushing the envelope myself. What can I do to increase things? And this little thing here, I forget what this cost. I think this was $3.99 or something like that. But now I've got ability to make more content. It sounds so good, but AI is the beginning of the end. Oh, never mind. I don't want to embarrass you. If you think that we're ignorant because we're not seeing that AI is the beginning of the end, hope your Kool-Aid doesn't get warm. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Something like that just makes me just go, I just don't get it. Yeah, Ashley and SB and Robin tell me just keep going, just keep pushing. You can't help some people. If you think AI is evil and you think AI is going to be the end of time and the end of the world, number one, and let me just answer it this way. If you think AI is the end of the world and you think that, it's so evil, then maybe you should be happy. Because if AI is the end of the world, that means Jesus will be here, right? So what are you concerned about? Let me know. Because if something is going to end the world, then that pretty much means he's coming. And if he's coming, then we don't have to worry about anything. So why would you worry about AI? I'm just asking. When I see people say that stuff, I'm like, oh my God. It always is a paradox. People can't answer that. They can never seem to justify that, is that if you're scared that it's the end of the world, then you should be happy. I would be happy if I knew that Jesus was coming in a little while. If AI hastened that, I'd be okay with it. Oh boy. I gotcha. I just can't. Oh man, it's just too much. It literally is too much when people get like that. Maybe I'm not the guy you should be following. I'm sure there's 30 other people out there that are like, oh, it's the devil. It's from craziness. And oh boy. Pekoski, 5 inches of the white powder couldn't stop me to be here. You rock, man. Thank you. I'm gonna get you a hat. Go ahead and send SV or the mods your mailing address. Real Caro, thank you for Bibles. Thank you. Dumb American, I've been reposting posts and ads that has fake and lying posts to Facebook. Please join me in the fight. There's a big fight happening. Yeah, absolutely. John Wagner, John 2:317. Read it. Jesus whipped a wicked out of his father's house. We need to be righteously angry. That's another thing people don't want to hear. I can't help them. Pekoski, what is our plan to solve the situation other than just talking? I think Trump's got a plan. I think you just saw it today. This is what I'm saying. They are organized already. Yes, they're organized and they're well funded. I mean, it's a RICO case waiting to happen. John Matarazzo, you need to play all video loud so we can see it. You need to play all videos aloud. Oh, I think he's talking about Cam Higby's video. Movie request. The Call, the perfect making of a perfect day, starting June 107. I'll have to look into that. Demon of Cybertron. Obama deported a lot of immigrants. Those were only deported for Dems to look good. But when the officer said all of them, there's the problem. Yep, all of them. James Dudley. Barack Santa had something to say. Remember the church lady Santa moved to and you have Satan. Subsir, why does it feel like something big will happen soon? I think it is happening right now. I think that message from President Trump was pretty much letting people know it is definitely coming. So I would think it's coming. Raven Kirkendall, Facebook groups boycotting biz if owners are MAGA. So I mean, seriously, if they're going to this kind of, let me stop there. Like I said a couple of days ago, who from outside appearances looks like they're winning and who from outside appearances looks like they're losing? when you're at this point where you're looking to boycott businesses, yeah, you're losing. EIO, please let's pray for our president's protection. That God surrounds him with godly counsel, humble him, and give all glory to Jesus. Absolutely. Louisa, remember President Trump has to let the National Guard go first. If they can't get it under control, then President Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and military MAGA patriots. Understand, we just saw video of those National Guards people giving the rioters, protesters, coffee and donuts. They can't get it under control. Cutting edge, they can't control the price of silver. It's through the roof. Even this weekend, the crooked banks are going to fail and they're going to fall hard. I'm going to talk to Kevin about that tomorrow as well. Born on the 4th, 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Do not be deceived. Bad associations corrupts good morals. Mm-hmm. Hello, Christina. I don't use AI to see movies, but I use it to design the house we are building that we broke ground on last week. Yes. Wow. Oh, you are moving so fast, so fast. You're getting married, now you're building a house. You go. Liz Rancourt, doubled my investment in silver just since October. Love it. Boom. Downloaded autopilot after watching the other day and linked it to my Schwab account. Used AI to help me figure it all out. Oh, that's you got a double soundtrack there. Neo, Great Show Barry, thank you for the positivity. This is start of prosperity. America will be great after all this madness is stopped. One of the reasons that you're right, one of the reasons why I'm trying to, it's almost like I'm doing some sort of sacrifice because I know people turn off, they don't want to hear it, but for those of you who do want to hear it, and I got those last two at the end. Doubled my investment in silver just since October. That's the kind of thing that I love people taking action, and I love hearing those kind of stories from people. I mean, to me, it means so much because you can get the news and the different tidbits about what's going on anywhere. I'm just hoping and I'm happy that you guys are taking some action. So it means a lot. So I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Glad I went through the entire show and I was quickly glancing over to the left. I was terrified that somebody was going to give me the score of the Patriots Broncos game, and nobody did. So now I can go back and go through like the fast play thing. I can see who won the game, and I'm not looking at any more comments. So don't try to break me right now. So I can get to watch the game, eat some dinner, and hang out with the wife and the doggies. And then later on, I'll do the same thing with the Seahawks game with the Rams. But I got through the entire 2 hours and nobody told me the score. Oh, I love it. All right, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
you.